All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome, and congrats on making it into the hardest parts of the police hiring process. I'm giving this presentation in hopes to make this a little easier and prepare you to make you all more competitive in this process. My goal is to get as many of you as possible past the next steps, but ultimately that's up to you. So most of you already know me as a recruiter. I'm here to coach you into the process, but I'm not part of the selection board. I will be at the interview boards next week, but I won't actually be in the boards. I'll be there to greet you, give you the questions, take your picture, and then continue to coach you through this process. Therefore, again, you don't need to impress me, but I obviously want you to succeed, and will do what I can to try and make that happen. I did throw my title on here to prepare you for the academy. You can call me Michael again after you graduate, but for now, I would start getting used to titles, sirs, and ma'ams, so on and so forth. I also have Sarah Doherty here with me. She can jump in case I miss anything, but obviously we've been tag teaming this together. All right, so our objectives with this presentation, which will probably take anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. I'm going to first give you a pay and benefit update because that's obviously a pretty exciting part. Then we're going to talk about what everyone is probably really nervous about, the interview boards next week, which is normal. I still get nervous for boards, for promotions, things like that. We're then going to actually talk about backgrounds. I forgot to switch it on here, but we're going to talk about backgrounds, poly, and then the rest of the process. And then we're going to talk about physical fitness and opportunities we'll have after the interview board and getting you prepared for the academy and how important that is. We're also going to talk about ride-along opportunities if you haven't gone on one yet. Those will be available after backgrounds and polygraph are complete or sooner if you absolutely need to. And then we'll save the end for questions, but Q&A. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, just try and hang on to them if you can. You can also type them in the chat and I can answer them after, or you can just save them for the end of this presentation. If you have any personal questions or any private concerns, obviously just save those for me or Sarah for later on. You can contact me directly. I'll have my contact info and I'll reshare that at the end too. All right, the exciting stuff. Our new contract has finally been voted in and the first step has been eliminated. Yes, our starting pay is still technically lower than places like Oklahoma City or more. However, our rates and benefits are more competitive, especially as you gain seniority. When you also factor in city population, crime, and agency size, this is an excellent salary and safe agency to work for. We have an excellent safety rating. If you look at our history and our reputation with training, especially. The desire for new vehicles has also been recognized and has become a priority. Everyone wants a take-home car. That's normal. Shortening the time it takes to get a take-home car, again, that's become a priority. So that's something we're excited to share. You've probably noticed a lot of new vehicles out there. No, it does not mean you're going to get a brand new car as soon as you graduate or as soon as you get through FTO. You'll get one of the older Explorers assigned a fleet car. But again, the wait list for take-home cars is dropping from 5 years, hopefully back down to 2 or less if we're lucky over the next year or so. Just to reiterate, our benefits, Norman wants its people to have a fulfilled and lucrative 20 or more year career. To help incentivize this, our longevity benefit pay was overhauled just a couple of years ago in 2024. which means you'll make a lot more money than the listed base pay, not including other benefits as well, such as education benefits, special team pay, etc. Norman PD wants people that want a career here, not just another job. So please give that some serious thought, especially when it comes to your upcoming interview, because more than likely you're going to be asked a question, something along the lines of, why did you choose Norman PD, or why do you want to be a cop? All right, so this was our pass rate from the previous hiring process, not the current one. We received about 290 applications. That's less than half of what we received this time. We also had a much bigger gap between the last academy and this one coming up. But back in the last process, 103 people took the physical and written exams. That was about 35% of the applications. That went up this year to about 50%. 67 people passed the exam in the last process. We had a lot more pass this year just because we had more people attend. However, our pass rate was actually less. It was closer to 50%. So again, congrats on making it this far because you're in that 50%. But moving past that in the last process, 30 people passed the interview boards, which was only 44%. And then please note, I know most of you, if not all, are scheduled for your interviews. We are still reviewing those packets because that's a lot. We have about 71 that we're looking at. And it's still possible to not move forward with your interview. So please make sure you're checking your contact, your email, stuff like that. 14 people, only 14 people passed backgrounds and polygraph in the last process. But again, we had a lot less people last year. I anticipate we'll have a lot more than that pass in this process. All 14 had passed the psych and physical examination, the pension physical. It's been about 10 years since someone failed either of those, or especially the MMPI. So I don't share this to scare you out of the process, unless, of course, you plan to lie. I share this to emphasize the seriousness of this process, as this is a hiring process of a very serious career. It's a big responsibility to selecting someone to invest training in, a lot of money into, ultimately give you a gun and a badge and trust you all to do the right thing. So if you don't take this process seriously or lack professionalism, the hiring board is not going to select you, or even throughout the background process. All right, interviews are next week. We typically lose more than half, as I showed you before, from interviews, so please pay close attention to these tips. You should be considering what questions could be asked. Write them down, but do not write down your answers. We don't want your answers to sound rehearsed, or at least they shouldn't sound rehearsed. You need to be yourself while being professional and answer from the heart. Gentlemen, I would highly suggest a suit and tie minimum. If you don't have one, find a cheap one, borrow one, or rent one. Ladies, keep it professional.
Blazers, heels if possible, flats if necessary. I understand heels can be a bit much sometimes, but definitely want to make sure we're looking a little business formal.
And then get there early, at least 15 minutes early. You can get there earlier than that. Some of y'all will show up like an hour early. I think that's a bit much, but better to be early. Definitely better to be early. You'll be given the list of questions as soon as you show up. So the earlier you get there, again, don't get there like 2 hours early. The earlier you get there, the more access you'll have to the questions, so you'll be a little more prepared. In the board, you'll read each question followed by your answer, and the board may ask follow-up questions to include any background concerns. It's going to feel kind of awkward. Some of you probably have never had an interview like that before. Um, so just to go back, you're going to show up. I'm going to take a picture of you so we can attach that to your application so we can put a face to the name. I'll give you the list of questions. You'll sit in the waiting room, and then when we're ready for you, Sarah will bring you in to the interview board and she may give you further instructions. You're going to be sitting in a chair in front of about 5 people, officers, and probably a rep from HR, and Sarah will be in there too.
Hmm.
Um, and then, like I said, you're just going to read when they tell you go ahead and go, you're going to read the first question out loud and then answer the question, and so on and so forth. Again, I know that feels kind of weird and it'll be probably kind of quiet between the questions, but that's how these things run. The promotion boards are the same way. Again, when it comes to your background or any background questions, own your past mistakes and what you've done to remedy or grow from those mistakes. Keep a professional yet relaxed posture. Remember to breathe. Make a point to look up at the board and be personable. Keep in mind, we have all gone through the same thing that you're going through. Lastly, answer the question that's being asked. Don't give a general answer or what you think the board wants to hear. It's okay to take those awkward pauses to think before you speak. We rather see you work in that mind for a good answer rather than just shooting from the hip, so to speak. So, for example, if there's a question that asks, give an example of a time you were stressed and explain how you handled it. A bad answer would be, I think I have stress like any other person. When I do, I just remember to breathe and move on to the next thing. So, did that answer the question? What would be a better answer to that? Probably something along the lines of working long hours in the military and social media in 2020 was affecting home life. I reached out to a mentor and a friend for help, set new priorities, and found a new hobby outside of work. And you can expand on that. I wouldn't keep it that short, but it's more specific. It's more personable, it's more honest, and it actually answers the question completely. Excuse me. So Sarah will let you know if you were selected 1 to 2 weeks after your board. Is that right, Sarah?
Probably about like a week. That next week, I bet,
Okay.
is when everything will be finalized through HR and everything. Yes.
So if you're selected, you'll go into the background investigation, which is conducted by Pro First. So those personal history statements, those painstaking packets that you guys have filled out are by Pro First, and so they will get those. They will contact you. They'll request further information. They're also going to do virtual home visits, meaning they're basically going to do something like this, like through FaceTime, through your phone. Um, make sure that you are being timely with the information they're asking for, because the sooner you provide it, the sooner your background will be completed and we can get you closer to a final offer. But this is very important. You should treat your interactions with Pro First just like the interview. You want to keep it professional because Pro First is going to tell us everything along with their recommendation. Um, we've had people take these phone calls from Pro First in their PJs. We've even had some see marijuana sitting on the table. Hopefully, you're not doing that.
We've
But
had individuals move off screen to vape during the interviews. Um, and all of that is recorded as well. So they catch it.
yeah, so keep it professional. At some point, you'll also be scheduled a polygraph, which is administered by one of our qualified officers. Unfortunately, we've been losing about 44% of candidates from backgrounds and some from polygraph due to issues that occurred too recently or, again, that inconsistent information. So, what I want to reiterate, obviously, this is not the career to lie in, but you need to be serious about the information you're giving. What we tend to see happen, for example, is someone will say they smoked weed back in, I don't know, 10 years ago, which is not a big deal. And they said they did it once, but then in the polygraph, they get nervous and then they admit they actually did it a dozen times. It's a dumb thing to lie about. So don't do that. If you think of any other information that you need to add to your packet, you need to let us know as soon as possible. Um, so yeah, that's for the polygraph. Has anyone here taken a polygraph? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Few of you. Pretty nerve-wracking, right?
Very.
Yeah,
At times.
that's completely normal. So, and the examiners know that. Again, they've done it too. So don't overthink it. You're going to be fine. It's normal to be nervous. You just need to be honest. At the same time, don't, like I said, with the overthinking, um, there's some things we don't need to know. Things that aren't illegal or a little too personal. If it's not something, like something, for example, like I lied to my mom when I was a kid. I forgot to put that in my packet. Um, we don't need to go that far into it. We just want to know if there's anything serious or if you have any integrity issues is really what that's all about. Once the background and polygraph are done and you pass them, you'll be given a conditional offer. And then it's pretty much downhill from there. Those are the hardest things. You'll have the MMPI or the psych evaluation. That's a long multiple choice test. It is an exhausting day, but it's not too difficult. Again, just be honest, don't game the answers, and listen to the doctor's feedback. Again, it was actually in my process 10 years ago that one or two people failed the MMPI because they were clearly gaming the answers and they were arguing with the doctor's feedback, essentially. The last step is a scheduled physical examination, which is required for the state pension system. It's a full medical exam that goes to the city for approval. I've never seen a denial for these. So be honest about your pre-existing conditions. Even if you have any military VA claims, we have people with plenty of VA disabilities, including myself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you have nothing to worry about with that. After that, you'll get a final offer, assuming you move forward with this. Sarah, I haven't missed anything on those last steps.
I don't think so. Mm-mm.
Work out now. How many of you continued to work out since the physical agility test? Hopefully everyone. If you haven't, it's not too late, but you need to get on it. Trust me when I say, unless you were in special forces, physically and mentally, our academy will be the hardest thing you've ever done. I was not in special forces, but I was an air crewman. I went to air crew school. I went to survival school in the Navy, and that was very challenging. And the academy was still much, much harder than that. The last thing we want for you is to make all this effort to get hired, then quit because you weren't prepared, or you end up getting injured because you weren't prepared. You need to be working out at least 4 times a week starting now to help make this a little bit easier on you. These workouts should be high intensity or CrossFit in nature. So for example, work up to a 3-mile run with exercises every quarter mile. Highly recommend repetitive push-ups, flutter kicks, air squats, burpees. Ease into it. Don't do all these at once if you haven't been working out. Again, we don't want you to injure yourselves. Once the interview board selections have been made, I'm going to get with the academy staff and we're going to figure out when we're going to offer workouts at our gym. These are completely voluntary. We can't pay you to come work out yet. You're going to get paid to work out in the academy and beyond that. But we are going to offer the opportunity to start working out with our academy staff, building up to the academy just to help get you prepared. All right, ride-alongs. I'll be doing optional 4-hour ride-alongs for applicants after backgrounds and polygraph, so you can get a preview of what it's like to be a Norman police officer. If you absolutely need to do a ride-along sooner, like if you're trying to decide if this is the right career path or agency, because I know some of y'all are applying for other agencies, and that's completely fine. But if you're trying to decide which one would be the best for you, um, or if you simply think more money at Oklahoma City will be a better option, I would highly advise getting with me to do a ride along, just so I can show you the differences between our agency and someone else's. Again, I prefer to do those after the background and polys are complete, just because I don't have time to give 70 people a ride along. But if you need that sooner, if you're trying to decide, again, just let me know. Otherwise, typically you can only do one a year, and you don't have to ride with me either. If you know an officer that's here, or if you just don't like me, you want to ride with someone else, you can do that by all means. I'm not going to work night shift ride-alongs either, so if you want night shift, we'll have to set you up with another officer.
I think Jamie Crow will do it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, some big takeaways before we go into the Q&A. If you got anything from this presentation, these are absolutely paramount. Cop work is not always pretty, even in little old Norman. It can be dangerous. One of my best friends and from my academy just got hurt, got hit by a car. Unfortunately, he's going to be okay. And that's not something that happens very often. Actually, no officer has been hit by a car in the time I've been here. But it is still a dangerous job. Have you discussed this with your family? Is your family okay with it? Does the drive to make a positive difference outweigh the considerations? Be sure this is the career that you want to pursue. Do not lie. That's pretty obvious, but make sure you don't leave anything out as we discussed. Be detailed, but again, don't overthink the little things either. We just want to know if there's anything serious. We've all made mistakes in our past. It's about owning up to them and what you've done to change since then. You need to get into peak physical shape so you don't get injured. The academy will be the most challenging yet rewarding training you've ever done. You're going to be in the best shape of your life. So start practicing now. And that's it for that. Again, if you have any personal questions or private concerns, please contact me or Sarah directly later. I'd like to now open the floor to you all for any general questions.
Yes, I have one.
Yeah.
For the ride-alongs, is the attire still professional dress, suit and tie?
Not necessarily suit and tie, but business casual.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
At what stage do you notify our current employer, as I've not told mine that I'm looking at employment or a career change for that matter?
So they would be notified should you move to the background portion of the process, because that's when the investigators can start calling. So I think at that point, that may be when you want to have that conversation with your employer, but not until then. We don't run anything until they're doing background. So.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, it looks like you have a question, but you're still muted.
Helps, yeah, helps if I unmute the mic.
Yeah.
So my question is, and I asked it during the physical and written, but do you guys know how many officers Norman PD is looking to hire this go around at this point yet?
Right now, we don't have an exact number, but that it's estimated to be up to 15. Anyone else? All right, Sarah, do you have anything you want to add?
Really just when we go into the backgrounds, of course, there are, some legal things that happen and we can't, dig too deep into your background, into a lot of the things. But I think the information that we are able to gain kind of surprises some people. And just if you are trying to hide something, we work with some really good people at ProFirst. They're very good at reaching out to um, just everyone they know. So if you have something that you think that you can hide, I would just say put it out there. We have a lot of times people will not tell us stuff on the background, and then ProFirst will come back and be like, "Hey, we found this whole other employment that they had. That for some reason they thought that if they didn't put it down, we couldn't find it." But with kind of everything being digital these days, it's a lot easier to kind of find those little issues. So just really make sure that what you've given us is all you've got, so that when we are looking at it, it makes things easier. There's not a whole lot of digging we have to do. If you have to do a lot more digging, it just kind of automatically makes you think like, hey, if they're not being super honest on this part, what about the rest of it? So really just make sure that what you've put in the packets are good. If you need to update anything, email me. Or if you want, you can update a whole new packet to upload a new packet to ProFirst, and I can get that. To piggyback on what Michael said, the academy is difficult. It's difficult mentally because you are learning so much stuff, and they are going to push you physically. I know he said get in peak shape before you start. I mean, I'd really work on getting close. I know that they're going to get you a little higher when you're in there, but the main people we have leave in the beginning of the academy is they get in there and they realize that they can't do the workouts. It's too physical for them, or it's too much, or they just don't want to do that. It isn't even that they don't want to be an officer. They don't understand the commitment they're making. It's that at this point, those workouts are too hard. And the first couple weeks, they do go hard, just to really kind of get you into an academy mindset, get you in, like, focused up. But it gets a little bit easier throughout the academy because you get stronger, more. So they're not having to do a lot of extra workouts and stuff. But just know, I mean, even if you get in there, it's going to be hard. So just prepare yourself as best you can. We do have people that make it, that don't make it through the academy for other reasons. Either they, are unable to make the firearms qualification, or they cannot pass the fight test. But the majority of people that we have leave is within that first week where they have done the first day's workout, they've done that, and that does it for them. They don't even get a chance to really get in and start experiencing all the mentally, stuff that you're learning, the legalities and all the fun stuff, the shooting and the driving, and they don't even get to that because they're stuck at that physical limit. And that's where they quit. So just make sure that you're pushing through, you give it all you got, and just come prepared. And that's it.
I have one other question.
Mm-hmm.
Going off of what you said, putting everything out on the packet. On the packet, it asked for any tickets you've received, anything like that. I could not remember dates of when they occurred, so I went and I pulled my MVR report. I think I paid like $17 for it. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that showed was a speeding ticket I had received in Norman in 2023. So I put that down on there. I know there was a couple of other speeding tickets I had gotten like when I was 16, 17 years old, but they didn't show on my MVR. So I couldn't, I don't know the dates. I don't know when those actually took place. So I didn't put those down on there. What should I do?
Right. So in that instance, like you are going off the best information that you have. You can, if you'd like, in that miscellaneous section, update and say, hey, I know I have some other ones from when I was younger, but I don't know the dates.
Yeah.
But this is what I was able to pull off of because that's the information that you can go off of.
Okay.
If we pull those and they're like, hey, why didn't you put this? As long as you can explain it and say, hey, I really tried, I pulled that MVR,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be an issue at all.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I was like, I know I have more than this one, and I was a little frustrated because I spent $17 for one
Right,
report.
for one.
I was like, I know there's more than this. So
Yes. Yeah. No,
thank you.
normally if you can explain to them or to us, why those were missing, and it's something simple like that. Either they're just not pulling up, they don't pulled the wrong dates. Sometimes they were just warnings, and so those don't come out.
Okay.
But as long as you can explain that and we can understand it, it shouldn't be an issue.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Mhm.
sir, as well, Sergeant, for today's presentation. I appreciate you guys taking the time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. Thank you. Does anyone have any last minute questions?
Oh, yes, I have one.
Yeah.
So I know you said beforehand that we get questions before the interview. How does that work for virtual interviews?
I will send those out 15 to 20 minutes before your interview. So you will have that copy in front of you as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so you
Thank
will definitely still have the option to get those early and formulate your answer so that you can come and be just the best, like, confident version of yourself. So that's the point of the questions early. So we're not going to take that away from you guys who are going to have virtual interviews.
Okay, thank you.
You're definitely welcome.
Good question. All right. Any other questions?
I also have a question as well.
Yeah.
How long does the academy generally last?
26 weeks.
26 weeks.
Yeah, about 6 months.
Thank you.
So we're starting May 1st is when the academy is supposed to start. And that would put graduation sometime around Thanksgiving. I don't have the exact date yet. Some of the academy staff is changing actually the end of this week, and so we're gonna start figuring that out and organizing. I already know the schedule is starting to be built, and so we'll have more specific dates that we'll share with you guys that continue to proceed through the process.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you don't live on site. I don't know if you guys understood that as well. You just come here for the day. You go home at night, you go to your families, and you just come here for the day.
Other than driving week, we
Right,
will
that is a
travel
little different.
We'll travel to Burns Flat. It's a lot of fun though. It's like a long camping trip with fun driving.
But not tent camping. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have one. So when
Yeah.
you were talking about jobs, like if you do like a bunch of like side jobs, like umpiring and like giving lessons, like would you need to explain that in like your job packet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just asking if that needs to be included in your
Right.
packet?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if for those kind of thing, if you just want to send me an email and just put like when and where, and maybe like
Okay.
if you worked for a certain company or something, that information, I can just include that with your packet and make sure that ProFirst has access to that as well.
Okay. Yeah. And it wasn't for any company. It's just like side gigs and just picking up stuff. So.
No, yeah. Just a quick email like, hey, I did this, and then.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? All right. If you do think of any questions, you can reach out to Sarah and I. If you leave a message with us and we don't answer right away, well, for one, please make sure you do leave a message so I know who you are, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If it's email, just make sure you put your name on it too. And yeah, and we did pretty good on time. Thank you for taking the time to be here.
Yes, thank you.
I will send out the recording in case you want to review any of this. And of course, for those who weren't able to attend. I will see you all next week, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good one, guys.
Thank you,
man.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.